Good afternoon. My name is Janiyah. Um, so along with my grandma and my mom said, there are many challenges that come with raising in order to establish these multicultural relationships. I'd like to share a personal story with you as an example. This year, I transferred from Monca High School to Mount St. Dominic Academy, which is a predominantly white, all-girls private school. Of course, this was a big adjustment for me, and it came with many challenges. Coming in as a transfer, I vowed to myself that I wouldn't stand up, and I would keep my head down, so I made a good impression on my peers and my teachers. However, one day of world history, my teacher put on a Netflix show called High and Low. This show highlighted foods and cuisines from different countries in Africa, and explained how they were exploited and came to be through the slave trade. As the first episode came to an end, the narrator of the show was in Benin, where, like in many parts of Africa, Africans were taken against their will, never to see their homeland again. This part of the episode really impacted me. I was an emotional mess. I was uncontrollably crying in my seat, and my teacher, being the caring person she is, she took me to the guidance counselor. It made me thinking, she's crying because it's a topic that's near and dear to her heart. However, this was a different situation. While watching, I felt that I wasn't doing enough to embrace my culture, and I wasn't being an ambassador for my culture. I asked myself, there's only about 6 other people of African descent in my school. Why am I not doing more enough for us? By keeping my head down and not embracing who I am, I was doing a disservice to all my ancestors that came before me, and had no choice but to keep their head down, as they were violently forced away from their children in our home. Well, as I was walking to the guidance counselor, my friend, a white female, followed me and sat in the office with me. She consoled me and didn't leave my side until it was time to go back to class. Although I was in a room filled with predominantly white individuals, they didn't look at me like I was crazy. They didn't refuse to understand. They knew, and I knew, that they wouldn't fully understand. But I could feel the compassion and the love in them. And because of this experience, I felt more comfortable to embrace them. For example, I was a part of our Black History Month presentation, as well as I presented a show on Jamaica for our multicultural event. This is what Race Amity is. It's people of different cultures, races, religions, and even genders coming together to make an effort to understand one another and to better one another. However, there is a key part for these relationships to be established. One must let their self flourish and be authentically them. Once I was able to let my walls down and be authentically me, I was able to feel how much love was in my school community. I was terrified to be seen as just a stereotype or a color, so I shrunk myself. But through that, one embarrassing but powerful and enlightening experience, I was able to gain a sort of paradise within myself. A quote from Janiyah Ngozi Adichie states, "When we realized that there is never a simple story about a place, we regain a kind of paradise." So, as Janiyah Ngozi Adichie states in her TED Talk, you deserve to take up space. Go out there and take up space and be authentically you. Then your peers will be allowed to see you and rewrite the single story that was given to you by anyone else. And only then will our community, our world, gain ultimate euphoria. We are raising it. Thank you.